years, we've been very blessed to have the opportunity to have the freedom. Like Brother Takuna used to say, well, greet everybody, what's up, free black man? Yes, what's up, free black man? And that's how we became engaged in the community and work to this day to ensure that black and brown people particularly are able to be the best persons and individuals and communities that they can be.
All right. And Brother Devon, just go ahead and just tell us a little something about 337 and how long you've been a community activist.
Yes, ma'am. So first, thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate this opportunity to be with such staples and really people who are anchors in our community, both you and Dr. Williams. And so it's truly an honor. The Village 337 is a civil rights organization, and I would say action organization that was birthed out of the murder of Trayvon Pellerin by the Lafayette Police Department, but is really an organization that focuses on bringing together the energy of the young people of the community with as well as the wisdom of the elders, as Ms. Margin would say, and then taking all of that and us all exchanging it with one another. So not putting everybody in sectors based on age or based on whatever, but taking all of that energy, that wisdom, bringing it together and actually making change. I've been involved in community work since I was a kid, probably around the age of 8 or 10 years old. Started out with the group Man Up and Another Level and all of those organizations under the direction of my uncle, my godfather, Christopher Bernard.
Okay.
So I got two mentors with the name Chris in my life. But at that time, I was more of an observer and just kind of a young person giving my opinions and more the entertainer at that time. I was singing at the vigils and participating in that way. And then as life happened, I moved away for a while. Started my career in the funeral industry and family service industry in Baton Rouge and kind of worked in service there. And then realized that there was so much going on in my own community that I felt that my presence was needed back. So I moved back. I left my job, resigned from there because of racism. And I say that openly. I have the resignation letter to prove it. I called out what was happening. I let them know that they were treating families that were spending more money than white families there unfairly. So I left there, came back to Lafayette, and ever since then, that was in 2019, 2020. We all know what happened that year, and here we are today.
Yes, indeed. And as you can see, this is a live discussion. The telephone number to call is 337-366-8951. The telephone number to call is 337-366-8951. And we ask that when you do call in, just don't be drinking. Don't call in and think you're gonna get away with just about anything. Just call in with your question or your comment. Now, we all know Sister Margie. Margie has been an outspoken activist all over and everything. And it is so ironic that when we're together, it's like all of our energy is on the same page.
That's right.
What I could do to help my community, what I can do for my community, and you just don't wake up one morning and say, oh, I'm going to be a community activist. I mean, it's something that's embedded in you.
Yes,
it's something that's embedded in you. Dr. Williams, you have like several programs that's going on at the Community Center.
The downtown convention
center.
Yes.
And there's time when you pass and it's like, cars everywhere. So what is your vision for the downtown community center?
Absolutely. We've embarked upon a program about maybe 3 years ago to identify a safe space where people could come from throughout the community to have dialogue and to have programming that would enhance our community. And what we try to do, and I think we've been fairly successful so far, is to allow people to come, cut through a lot of the red tape, and just be in a safe space that would allow people to express themselves regardless of the doctrine, and know that there won't be any repercussions of that. And so we've also embarked upon a weekend activities that allows brides from the north side, that allows parties and rehearsals, and there was a big retirement event coming up over the weekend. That's basically right off of Simcoe Street, right? It's on the cusp of downtown and on Simcoe, and it allows us to have a safe environment to have our community meetings, but also to have our social events. And we've been very, very informative in terms of letting the community know
Yes.
that, hey, this is what we have and this is what's available. And also being able to ensure that we have an opportunity to have the ability to say, from a cost standpoint, particularly from Monday to Thursdays, that you can be here in this space and not have a cost burden to be there.
Okay.
And then even on the weekends, we are committed to being a space that thrives itself on people making memories in the building, but also having, if we're going to have a public discussion, we can have it there and know that, we're not going to be run through, there'll be no vetting done, and it could be done. So really, really exciting time for the Downtown Convention Center, and just excited that the community has responded very well to the opportunity to have events there.
Yes, indeed, and not only a safe place, but a gorgeous, clean bathroom, good food. The sounds is
Yes.
so superb. I mean, it's just extraordinary.
Right. One of the things we wanted to ensure was that, for the most part, that we would have the opportunity to have a turnkey operation with, the kitchen facility, like you said, the restrooms, ADA acceptable, the lighting, the HVAC equipment, and then also, of course, the IT equipment that allows connectivity with the internet and with the possibility of showing films. One of the films that we was able to show was the one Aftermath, and which tracks the struggle that Black and brown women have during childbirth.
Yes.
We was able to not only have that opportunity, but we was able to have a discussion and also have light refreshments. And so we're really excited about the facility, and would encourage the public to call us and to engage with our team to see how we can partner on events and also work to make our community a better place.
All right. And Devon, just by, y'all took on the murder of Trayford Pellerin. We've been in Baton Rouge on the horrific murder of Ronald Green, and I wanted to wear my Ronald Green shirt, but with that neon wall, it just does not cooperate. What have you learned about just being in the forefront at such a young age?
Yes, ma'am. I think for me the biggest lesson learned was that although we are in a modern age, although at the time we were in the year 2021, Ronald Green was murdered in 2019.
Okay.
Trayford Pellerin in 21, a number of others. We've had so many that have not even gone public within the Lafayette City Police Department within the last few years, that we are still in a corrupt state, that we are still in a corrupt city and parish, and that there is still so much work to be done. That the marches and the sit-ins and all of these different things are not just for show. They're not just for us to burn energy. That it is necessary for the survival of Black America. It's necessary for us to organize and to continue to put pressure on these entities, because we can't just rely on them to do the right thing. That won't happen in my lifetime.
Okay.
And so I think that has been the hardest lesson learned, is that we are nowhere near where we thought we were. And when I say that, I talk to my mom all the time about her generation, which is kind of you and Dr. Chris's generation, and I talk to her about how, and there's no offense to that generation, but that is a privileged generation in the sense that their parents and grandparents had so much to fight for.
Yes.
They had so much trauma and so much that they were fighting that they didn't want their children to have to experience.
Yes,
and so they kind of sheltered the generation of the babies of the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, right? Because they didn't want them to experience what they went through.
Yeah.
And so then all of a sudden you swing back around to the 90s and the 2000s, and here we are today, where that pendulum has shifted back to the racism is so blatant now.
So blatant.
It's so, like, since Donald Trump, it really, since Obama, right? Because Obama brought out the worst and the best in people. Obama showed us who was really, really racist and who really loved, who really didn't care necessarily about color. They just wanted the work to be done. But what it did was it also showed us where America was as it relates to race issues. And so I have that generational conversation with my mom all the time, and I share with her that was one of the biggest things, biggest lessons learned over specifically the last 4 years.
Yes.
Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful. You know, we were at the legislature this past year, last year rather, and had that same kind of discussion before one of the committees about, we're discussing in this particular case, Sister Khadijah and Brother Devon, the creation of a second black congressional district. And the state of Louisiana is over 33% African American, closer to 35% with black and brown people. And if you have 6 people representing the state of Louisiana in Congress, you know, anybody with any basic math knowledge would tell you that 1/3 of 6 is 2.
Right.
But the powers that be signed a pact that in the state of Louisiana they would not allow for 2 majority African American districts to be drawn, and they held that. To this day, there have been stall tactics and so forth, even after the United States Supreme Court ruled that the same pattern that was done in Alabama, that it was done here in Louisiana, deemed it unconstitutional, and they had to draw the district. Even to this day, the leadership is saying that we're not going to do it. So we testified that they basically, based upon your comments, that it's such an unfortunate thing that we still, in the year 2023, in the United States of America, have 2 Americas.
That's right.
We have the mortality rate for black women who died during childbirth is 3 times that of white women. The fact that black households earn 37% of what white households earn for the same type of job and same type of education. The fact that the crime rate in our communities is skyrocketing due to our criminal justice system and the relationship that the black and brown community have with law enforcement. We cannot disregard the fact that in the parish of Lafayette, on the census tract that I live in, at the corner of Willow Street, Dr. Martin Luther King Parkway and Evangeline Thruway, the median income is $30,000 to $36,000 a year. But the median income for an individual living at the corner of Camellia Boulevard and College Saloon is $86,000 a year. You know, those disparities ring out. And when you have people that will say to people, we want you to go out and pull yourself up by the bootstraps. We want you to go out there and find a job. And those people go out there and find a job and they make $7.25 an hour. So you can make $7.25 an hour, go to work, you and a second person in the household, and still be below the poverty level in the United States of America. And when John Bel Edwards, the outgoing governor, for 3 years attempted to raise the minimum wage to $10 an hour, it was fought by the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, One Acadiana, the Chamber of Commerce. All these groups, small business, came out and said, oh, it's going to break us, it's going to break us. But during the pandemic, when nobody could work and everybody had to stay home, and after it was over, when it was time to get back to work, and the people didn't show up, then the people said, well, you're going to get a sign-in bonus,
Come on.
$10. We're going to pay you $10 an hour. Well, if you can do it now, you could have done it then.
That's right.
It was corporate greed that drove that policy. And the only reason that I bring it up is that in the committee, we said that it's unfortunate, and basically what you said, that in the year 2023, this country, this state, and this community is still dealing with issues we still have gotten by a long, long time ago.
Yes, and like you talk about like the outgoing mayor of the city of Lafayette, Josh Guillory. He had $8 million from the COVID fund.
$86 million.
$86 million from the COVID fund. Where did that money go? I remember Mr. Glenn Lazard. Glenn Lazard took and had some type of audit. I'm not sure what became of the audit or anything like that, but where is the money? You know, and stuff like how many of his friends, he shouldn't be able to just walk on into the sunset, him and his wife. There should be accountability because you had a former congressman who had $96,000 in his freezer. They gave him almost, I think he's done.
Yeah, just recently got out, William Jefferson.
Oh man, you know. So where is that money?
Yeah. You know, one of the things we just if you want to use Lafayette Parish, it could be in any community. It could be Iberia,
Oh, yeah,
St.
Iberia,
Landry,
yeah.
Orleans. You know, we still have geographically defined areas where Black and brown people congregate, and at the end of the day, you know, everybody understands when you're on the north side of Lafayette, we have been just disregarded in terms of investment. We haven't had any new housing investment. We haven't had any new infrastructure investment. When we tried to bring frontage roads, they told me go spend it with your own money, with your own tax dollars. We wasn't able to bring frontage roads in. When we was looking at where we was going to put, if they were to sell the area that deals with the Harmon Performing Arts Center, whether or not the north side would have been a good site to put it to kind of create some economic development, that was shut down. You know, communities that are the most progressive are the communities, like Brother Devin said, where people can at least talk to communicate and communicate with each other, and also have the opportunity to know that we have to have fair and balanced public policies.
That's right.
And those of us that stand up for fair and balanced public policies have to do it unabashedly, knowing that we're going to be attacked and knowing that there's going to be some other things associated with it. But at the end of the day, we owe it to our children and we owe it to the next generation to ensure that we have the same schools, we have the same houses, we have the same drainage, we have the same streets, we have the same economic opportunities that other areas of the geographic region have.
Yes. Now, that's a lot of. That's like a semi-dissertation. I'm not even going. Absolutely correct, Dr. Williams. And Devon, sometime being the center of attraction can give you feedback or can give you some type of. Do you watch your surroundings? Do you check your cars? I mean, what is it do you do just overall to protect yourself?
Yes, ma'am. So most places that we go to when we're in public, we have to have security. I never in a million years would have imagined saying that I have to walk around. And you know, most people would think that's a flex. The young people consider a flex as some good, you know, something to brag about. But it's scary, you know. And I'm one of those that I believe in the word, and I believe in the power of God, and that God has called me to do what He's called me to do. But we're practical, so no public places without security. You know, you're right. I checked my vehicle before I started.
That's right.
We have cameras. Pretty much anywhere that I am, there's a camera.
Okay.
The live footage of my home is monitored with cameras, security systems, and you know, reporting everything that we get, because we get death threats, we get all of these different types of, you know, these different things, and you know, it has been a journey. There have been times where, you know, my mom has called me and it's caused family strife, right? Because my mom's worried that she might lose her child.
Yeah.
You know, it's those things that people don't see. And unfortunately, it brings a lot of struggle because a lot of the stuff is not free, right? You got to pay people to do security. you have to pay people to protect you. You have to pay for alarm systems. You have to pay for all of this extra added stuff that unfortunately there's no stipend that comes with being an activist. I was talking to I have a huge following on TikTok, and one of my followers all the way from Germany was talking to me about the work that I do, and she was like, "Well, do you get paid for it?" And I was like, "No." She said, "That's crazy." She said, "The government pays people here that does the work that you do."
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, "What?" I said, "The government don't want the people here doing the work that we do." So it's just the when you think of also to the value that people do in the work, that people put into the work is it's unfortunate. But we keep pressing and we keep pushing, and I've not been the only one that have received those threats. But unfortunately, being in that limelight comes with that, and people think we chase cameras or we chase ambulances. We don't. Sometimes we have to turn away cases. We have to turn away families. We have to turn away news interviews and putting out the information just simply because we don't have the resources.
And that's horrific in a sense.
Yes, ma'am.
We was doing a program, and we were the community defender, and you know how hard we be going when it come down to with Brother Darryl, Brother Oscar, and just so happened, just my training. I'm always looking outside. I'm always checking this. I opened the door on 1 hour segment of our show, and like we're right there, just right here, and the door is right there. And when I opened the door, there was a white man, and I took a picture of him. I took a picture of him. He had stooped down and he was getting ready to defecate on the ground, on the cement, right where we would have walked in. I took a picture. I cussed him out, and I still have that picture.
Wow.
So all of that, you got to be mindful of people that's calling you and telling you thus, and want to meet with you and everything. Hey, we don't need to meet in person for what?
Right. And my friends, I think sometimes the people that I'm around, they probably look at me weird because I sit in certain places. I'm watching the exit. I need to see everything in the room, and I'm conscious of that every second of the day, no matter where I'm at. I could be in the office, and everything that I do basically is I'm moving, thinking about security.
Yes, indeed.
Hey, I tell Dr. Williams all the time, I said, look, now we got about 5 or 6 activists in the room.
Right.
I don't think this is a good idea. We need a split.
Yeah.
And when you think about that,
makes sense.
if you watch that movie, the show, there's a series, and it's called The Survivor, a designated survivor, and it highlights how they're in government. And I don't know if this is actually true, but the show is highlighting how every person in our government has a designated survivor, because there was an attack plan during the presidential address, and this is the only time when everybody in our government is under one roof. And so if a person wants to attack the government, they attack on that one day, because you lose your entire government. And so I think about those things, like if something happens to all of us while we all in the same room, who's going to be left to take on the baton? Who's going to be left to finish the work?
Yes. Caller, you have a question or comment? You're on.
Yes, I want to commend the young man for being courageous enough to speak out about the injustice that's going on.
Thank you.
And to let him know to stay focused.
Yes,
and
sir.
some of the people that he's around are really selling the community out.
You know, I'm not gonna go there with you. I'm not gonna do it. Not today, and not tomorrow. So if you want to come and you want to call in with a question or a decent comment, we're gonna go ahead and do that. But on the air, not today or not tomorrow. And so what we really have to focus on is the fact that we're trying to teach each other, and we have each other back.
That's
no
right.
matter how you look at it, we have each other back.
That's right.
And in different scenarios, you've got to always be mindful, because I've gone places and somebody has said, Margie, are you? I said, no, I'm not Margie. I said, I'm prettier than Margie, and I'm older than Margie. So, we just
Yeah, you know, one thing I want to mention, Sister Khadijah, and I think about it was what Brother Devin mentioned. You know, the 1619 Project, you know, chronicles over the last 400 years, and even more. It just, you know, the Moors were here a long time ago, so we have to be able to identify the fact that we've had, you know, a whole lot of history in this country, 400 years plus, right? And it's been a very violent history. You know, the violence in this country towards black and brown people, with the Native Americans and indigenous people, who through the Trail of Tears, where they were moved from their homelands in Mississippi and Alabama, pushed out to Oklahoma. Many of them who died, you know, with the institutionalization of the enslavement process for economic gain. Sister Khadijah, you've been for so many years part of the reparations process to get an apology and some economic compensation for what our ancestors endured here. And oftentimes, and many times, you'll see that there's a hesitancy to act, right? Whether it's Kennedy in the White House or Johnson or any other the presidents. And that hesitancy derives from a point of privilege, right? Nobody can feel our pain and our angst, which becomes an institutionalized and an innate drain on our being. And so when we talk about these things, you know, some people make light of it or see it as a flex, but it's part of our fabric, and it's been a part of our fabric since 1619. You know, when you look at the hesitancy of the presidents in the 60s on what they was going to do with the Civil Rights Bill, what they was going to do with fair housing, you know, what they was going to do with what was going on all over the United States, but particularly in the South, there was a particular hesitancy there by even those people who were supposed to be our friends. And now as these tapes come out, you know, we hear what Reagan said. We hear what Kennedy said. We hear what the president said and what Kissinger said and what Nixon said about that we just wasn't important. We were basically a commodity. And it took a particular Sunday, which some call Bloody Sunday, to make a difference in the conscience of America. It took a particular Sunday when 4 little girls was just going to church in Birmingham, which became Birmingham. And what happens is that they were pushed to a point where when that was on the news, they had to ask, what must we do to stop this, right? Ruby Bridges, who still resides in New Orleans, Louisiana, had to be escorted by federal deputies to school, the famous Ruby Bridges painting right there in New Orleans, Louisiana. And so people say, well, that was our ancestors. That wasn't us. You know, we wasn't the group that did that, right? But ladies and gentlemen, today, 24 months ago in a Kroger's in the East Coast, an elderly couple just shopping in a Kroger's was shot down because they was black. The latest shooting in another supermarket, the gunman goes around and shoots people of color, people that are black. Particularly, he comes upon a white person, I don't want you, not you. And he goes on to another person and proceeds to shoot those people, right? And so my point is this. My point is that we have to take security seriously, right? Because we are exposed to a very vicious time, and we have to be sure that as we practice and pray as the people was in the Trinity CME Church of the Carolinas, where they fed this young man and then he murdered them in the basement, right?
Yes, indeed.
We cannot forget that these times are very, very trying, and we have to be able to provide the necessary protection for people like Brother Divine, yourself, Sister.
Yeah, that's me you hung up on again.
As we began to do that. So thank you so much, and we do need to do that.
Okay, you have a question or a comment respectfully.
Well, everything that I ask you is respectfully, and it's a question that you keep on hanging up on because of Chris William on the side of you.
It's-
This
all right,
is an open, this is an
Kevin.
open line.
Freddie Baum, a.k.a. Kevin, Mr. Broussard, I done told you, you're not going to disrespect my guest. I'm not going to...
I'm not disrespecting your guest. He's on the guest, and he said to call in if we have a question, and all I'm doing is calling in a
Okay,
question.
what is your...
But you have to stop being his security guard and let me ask it to him and stop getting involved in it. You host the show and you bring people on for people to ask questions. So if you don't want me to call in your show and bring hosts that you're going to cover from him answering certain questions,
What is the question, Kevin?
the question is to Mr. Chris Williams.
Dr. Chris
And,
Williams.
well, he's a doctor to you.
Okay.
But to Chris Williams,
And you see that caused division because sometimes I've even forgot I'm actually on the air and I'll start using words that I'm not supposed to be using, and so that's a serious problem there. And what we have to do, we have to always stay focused. You got to always stay focused, no matter what. There are people in the community that do thus. There's people in the community that don't do jack anything. There's people in the community that, what is that word? There's some fire starters. They're gonna start stuff and everything like that. But I'm not going there. I'm not going there. All right. So, Devon. One of the things that I noticed that you've been attending Imani Temple number 49 and stuff like that, and you are a deacon.
Yes, ma'am. Deacon candidate.
Deacon candidate.
All
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
Yes,
Congratulations.
indeed.
Thank you,
Congratulations. And we must say that he do so well. We must
Thank
say that
you.
he do so well. Come here, Nadia. Did you? Okay, that's Nadia, our little grandbaby. Did you say good evening? How you?
Good evening.
All right. What is it? Tell us your name and everything. Tell us your name.
I'm Nadia. I'm 9 and I'm in the 4th grade.
Okay. All right.
Very good.
All right. Nadia, what's your last name?
Bonnet.
Okay. All right. All right. Nadia, what is it in life that you really want, or what is it as a little child that you think is very important besides baby dolls and clip-on nails? What do you think is important?
For people to stop killing people, like black people to stop killing white people to stop killing black people to stop killing black people, and white people to stop killing white people.
Okay, and so where are you seeing all of this killing at?
On the news?
Okay, that would be a place and everything. And I know sometime when we're watching TV and you see all that killing with Israel and everything, that makes you upset.
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
Because it just hurts me to see my people, like people all over the world die.
Mm-hmm. Okay, your people. I remember one time I told, I said, we all black here. No, Mama, I'm not black. I'm brown. I'm not, and,
You white, kinda.
and so, yes, calling you on. Calling you on. You have a question or a comment?
I have a comment followed with a question.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, and as I'm listening to the show, I realize that there's a lot of concentration on the infrastructure of the north side. I just want to bring up another issue in terms of redeveloping, and I know that the infrastructure on the north side needs some serious redeveloping. But I also know that our human spirit as black folk here in Lafayette needs some reconstructing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was thinking, and I know I don't want to take long, but whatever happened to the educational attainment of black folk in our community in terms of technological careers? And when I say technological, not technological, but technical careers, when I talk about that, I'm talking about the attainment of trades in our school, or even the projection of grants that would be funneled into our community. My question is this: why us as African Americans fail to take hold of the opportunities available to us in terms of the monies for career and technical education? I see a lot of my young brothers and sisters that have a lot of misdirected energy because there's no trade, there's nothing to do. We have boys and girls clubs where they teach you a lot of games, how to play basketball, chess, checkers, and all these other games. But we don't have no situation at producing career and technical education. And I want your guests to address that. Because I say African American, we lag behind other groups in adult and youth employment in the civilian sector. We rank below other groups in educational attainment.
Sure.
How is this explained, and why so many of us are living below the poverty level? Yes, we make up 30 or so % of the population here in Lafayette, but when we look at our condition and look at what we have to offer, there's something needs to be questioned there. So what are we doing in terms of raising our young brothers and sisters and preparing them for careers in technical education? That's my question.
All right. Thank you, Carl. That seemed like a 10-minute question. So,
Well, it's very complex, and I'm gonna just start off, and then Brother Devon, you can come in. Look, I wrote my dissertation on the creation of the Louisiana Community and Technical College System in the state of Louisiana, right? And Louisiana was one of the last states to have a comprehensive community and technical college system. And I say that because we were late to the game in terms of making sure that we had an option to do what?
Okay.
To train people to be brick masons, to be art chefs, to be machine tool technologists, non-destructive testing, welding, all of the things that are HVAC. And although we were late, for some reason, somewhere in the process, as we develop into communities, when I was growing up, I would see all kind of people in our community, right? All of those tradesmen were there. But over the years, somehow those particular entities and those particular jobs began to be diminished. And so, in the light of those people that was coming out of high school, right? And so what we try to do is to ensure that we have an opportunity to bring those opportunities back. We know that most of the jobs over the last 10 years in the United States of America will require more than a high school degree, but less than a college degree, right? Those are the jobs that we use every day. And those jobs, ladies and gentlemen, pay a tremendous amount of wages and salaries. And so as we began to address the issues, it is imperative that we hear what the caller is saying, and that we begin to address the fact that we need to provide these training programs as viable solutions to neighborhoods that need them the most. If you've gone to a mechanic lately, if you've had your air conditioning or heating worked on lately, if you needed a new roof lately, if you needed machine tool technology or non-destructive testing, if you needed an LPN or a CNA, if you needed a plumber, you know that all of those tradesmen, the cement finishers, the bricklayers, are in high demand, and they all command a very high rate of pay. But for some reason, somebody told us that wasn't admirable. Somebody convinced us that we needed to do something else. And I can tell you, I have a friend of mine, I won't say his last name, I'll say his first name. Larry and I graduated from school together in 1980 at Lafayette High. Larry went on to become a licensed electrician. I can tell you 2, maybe 3 to 1 over our lifespan, and we just celebrated our 40th plus year of graduating from high school. Larry has earned 2 to 3 times more of my life earnings because he was able to have that craft and that creativity and that ability to be a licensed electrical contractor. So we have to be able to give the incentives that are necessary for people to be retrained. We have a tremendous shortage of truck drivers in this country now. And our goods can stay on the docks for weeks and months because we don't have the skilled drivers to get them there. But we have to incentivize the opportunities, and we have to particularly make those opportunities available in hard-to-serve communities.
All right, caller, you're on. What you wanted to say? Caller, you're on.
Good evening, Southwest Louisiana. This is Dr. C. Ray Crofton,
Oh, Dr.
Dean of Christian Education for Lucy Chapter Push. I'm calling to invite the public out to our annual Martin Luther King Jr. celebration. It's going to be held on January the 13th of this year. Lineup is going to be, the parade lineup is going to start at 11 o'clock. It's going to be at the Boys and Girls Club on Persian Street, 423 East Persian, right across from South Pilgrim Baptist Church. We're going to march down Persian Street to Hopkins, and we'll convene with the program and the Buck Johnson's Park. And we want to invite the public out to come. Our theme for this year is, the time is always right to do what is right. And what better time it is than now to do the right thing, because that's the right thing to do. Okay, then please come out. If you need to contact me, my number is area code 337-465-9373. President James Broussard, phone number 337-256-6461. Vice President Wilfred Johnson, pastor, 337-241-1972.
Yes, sir. All right.
Thank you, Dr. Crofton.
Yeah,
That's some good information.
Yeah, Dr. Crawford, thank you so much.
Thank you all for having me.
Yes. Okay.
And I'd like to piggyback on what Dr. Chris was saying. And by the way, shout out to Dr. Reverend Crofton and Reverend Wilford Johnson. We work with them as well.
Yes, we do.
They're cohorts of Lead Louisiana, which is a plug.
Yes.
You need to sign up if you're not signed up.
Yes.
But also too, the city and parish specifically, of course the state too, but on a more local level, needs to make the city and parish attractive for us, for young people specifically, and the working class to want to stay here. Especially those that do have the education, that do have the wherewithal to actually run those programs, or to be able to provide training and whatnot. Because right now, you know, this is not, I don't know anybody that I work with outside of the state of Louisiana that Louisiana is on their top 10 places to move, you know, or Lafayette, for instance, you know. So there has to be a desire, not only for young people to stay here, but to attract business and commerce here as well.
Well, and then when you look at it, too, we talk about Louisiana because we were born here. It's our state. We love Louisiana. We just hate the type of racist type of environment that still exists here today. I had a picture of the sheriffs in the state of Louisiana.
Oh, I saw that.
We have 61 sheriffs in the state of, we have 61, 62, 63, 64 sheriffs in the state of Louisiana. 61 is all white males. All white males. 61 is all white male. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. When you come down to the district attorneys, you got to remember, this is money grab. This is power. And when it comes down to them doing what they want to do, you know, they don't have nobody. They don't have no reason to listen to nobody. This is I wish I could have pulled it up so you could actually see.
Wow.
61 white men who are sheriffs. Only 3 people of color, and it doesn't it trickled down.
Yes.
Because you have the district attorneys. A lot of them is corrupt. They do what they want to do, how they want to do it for their certain friends, and so we got all of this against us.
Yes.
You know, so when they try to steal our food, what make you think they're not going to try to steal our livelihood, which is
That's
what's
right.
been going on here.
That's right. The covering up of murders, the covering up of the corruption within the police and sheriff's office and all of these different entities. The Louisiana State Police, which we know is to be one of the most corrupt entities that we've experienced over the last few years. You know, and that is extremely important narrative that we got to continue to push and let the people know that we got to call it out. That's the only way it's going to change.
I know our time is short, so I want to bring up a point. I got to do it before we get cut off. Think about how this is so cyclically crazy, right?
Right.
So we have these district attorneys that are arresting these people, and they're putting them in these programs that are supposed to help with the recidivism rate and help them become better citizens. But they give their contracts to their friends,
Come on.
right? And then their friends then give the contract to their family members, right? Now we got to go as people in the community, mostly 90 to 95% black, and pay that
Right.
on a layaway plan every week, every month, and so forth, right?
Right.
But we are none of the vendors that are doing this. So when you go to Lafayette and you see that this is happening with Don Landry's district attorney's office, you see it's happening with all of the co-conspirators in the deal. The question becomes, how much of this can we take?
That's right.
We are disproportionately arrested, but we are disproportionately taken advantage of by the very system that is supposed to be there to protect us. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to have these discussions. I'm sorry. It's not a pleasant discussion to have,
No.
but that's why we do what we do.
That's right.
We cannot be trusted. If it was not for Devon, the 337, Jamal, and a group of about 10 to 12 that burst into the Louisiana State Police Office to say that you lied.
Right.
Ronald Green did not die. Mr. Ronald Green did not die from hitting a tree. Y'all killed him.
Right.
And you guys are the ones. It wasn't a big group. It wasn't thousands. It was 10, 12, 15 at the most that went in there and walked through the gates and made it become a major issue again.
Oh man, I mean, and I said that we was going to have like a 1 hour show. We really needed a 2 hour show.
Well, that means we'll have to come back, huh?
Yeah, oh,
That's
yeah, hey, the door is always open. As a matter of
Yes, ma'am.
fact, y'all can go ahead and sign up for a series and everything. Go ahead, Devon. Go ahead.
30 seconds.
Oh, 30
Okay,
seconds.
yes. I would just like to say thank you for this opportunity. Again, if you want to volunteer with the Village 337, you can look us up on New Civil Rights on Facebook and Instagram, and that is just our tagline. It is powered by the Village 337.
Dr. Williams.
Always remember to let justice run down its waters and righteousness at a mighty stream.
All right. And remember to show love and peace among our people. When you're praying for prosperity, make sure you're praying for everyone, not just a certain group here, a certain group there. Yeah. Just remember that we all want the same thing that everybody else wants, and that is equal justice under these horrific laws in the state of Louisiana.
That's right.
I want to thank the director, Brother Shaheed, Brother Jay.
Yes.
We really appreciate y'all. Nadia, where you at? Thank Nadia for answering some questions. Where's she at, Shaheed?
She's doing some administrative work.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I want to thank all the callers. So, some was able to get through, and some wasn't able to get through. We still want to thank all of the callers. It just let us know that people are on point and everything, because this show is going to be one of the last shows that I